Our host here.
Hopefully he drops in soon here. Not sure.
Are we waiting?
Yeah, our host has not arrived just yet, so we're all kind of in
Cool.
silent here. I don't know. Maybe hopefully he didn't forget.
Yeah, well, it should be soon. It's 4 minutes after, but
No.
okay, fine. Thank you, Andrew, for answering.
Yeah, no worries.
It was in my calendar originally at 2:30 and then it's changed to 2 just the other day, so maybe there's some confusion.
Maybe.
Oh no.
Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
2 o'clock as well.
it wouldn't make sense though, because like the call's got to be started by somebody, right? I would imagine.
Yeah, that's
Like
weird how we got in without the host here.
Exactly.
Well, there's 13 of us good people here. Yay.
Maybe we'll just guide the call ourselves.
Andrew, give us some insights here.
Yeah, exactly.
Has anybody here gotten in touch with the lead that they've said, yes, let's go ahead?
You mean as in like close the deal or firmed up a deal?
Closeness. Well, even got further than just because I've had 13 leads. I finally found them. They're sent to me now, but I've phoned everybody and I haven't had one that has moved past, that wants me to book an appointment is actually my next step, right? So not one has done that. So I was just curious, is it just me or not?
You made contact with them?
Yes, of the 13, there's 3 that I still haven't, and I've left like 5 calls now. It's ridiculous. But the other, I did get in touch with the others, and they all basically they said either no, not interested. Don't know why I clicked on that, or I was just curious about my house evaluation. And I said, hey, happy to help. So, but no appointments made. That was my goal.
Are you running buyer lead generation or seller lead generation?
I'm sorry. What kind of?
Are you running ads for buyers or are you running ads for sellers?
Sellers right now, they started off with sellers. And they launched on the 5th, so it's already the 21st. I was just curious.
Yeah, it's a little different of a strategy. The kind of program is tailored more so around the buyer lead gen. But with the selling side, which I've had been running this campaign for quite a couple months now, you do get those people that are like, they've filled out the form and they've wasted your ad spend, and it's a little frustrating. But yeah, I find if you lead with some value first, it's much better to cultivate the conversation, because then it doesn't kind of it isn't received as a kind of like a really overly salesy call. Like
Right,
if
for
you can
sure.
say to somebody, you can do some homework before you open the call, and then
Yeah,
you say, hey, listen, I noticed that you'd opted in on and knowing more about your home's value. Did you hear about the property that's sold down the street? Right. And then
yeah.
they're like, oh, no, I didn't. And you're like, okay, well, this is et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, that's just kind of what I've derived. It is kind of
Mm.
quite frustrating at times though, because I kind of called the lead yesterday and they're just like, oh no, forget it. Just delete that. And it's like, oh, okay. So anyways,
Yeah, that's tougher. Yeah,
yeah,
interesting.
it's a bit of an uphill battle, but nevertheless, I mean, you just kind of want to, because it's such a low trust era, right? Like it's not a lot of people receive calls. They immediately they just want to react in such a way that like leave me alone. But if you
Yeah,
I've just found an experience that I've had for the last it's been over like 6 months now, is just the leading with the value is just a tremendous part of it, because then it gives you more credibility and authority in the call.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew,
Hmm.
how did you adjust for the buyers? Because you don't really know them, right?
Yeah, good question actually. So in the buying dynamic, I gotta go back and kind of scratch my head here when I was calling buyers. Um, typically, um, I would open the call in to say that, you expressed interest in real estate, because then they like, and with a question with an upswing, because then it opens it up to like your curiosity. Like if you open the call in to say like, hey, you clicked on an ad regarding the homes and value, et cetera, at value X, they're like, immediately they're like, oh yeah, no. They come to the conclusion about what you're calling about, and they kind of immediately want to shut you down. But
Mm-hmm.
if I found what it was like, yeah, I just correct me if I'm wrong, but I got your information here, and you expressed interest in real estate, and then they're like, oh right, yeah, and then that just kind of forms the call like more in such a way where you get to understand their situation. And then it also helps to get the call away from the idea of whatever's conceptualized in the ad, because sometimes in the ad it's like maybe not so realistic, and if people are focused on that, then it just kind of it takes a kind of a bad turn. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, and
That's cool. That's
yeah, for
great.
sure. Yeah, hope that helps.
Yeah, no, I like that you completely like there's no detail. It's just like the super broad, just real estate in general. Like
Yeah,
just broadest, just the aspect of it. That's great.
yeah, absolutely. And I think it's helpful too, like when um if you have a confidence in your like voice, like where you're just like you've taken time out of your day to reach out to them, that helps a lot. In times when I had a few leads, I was really anxious to like start and just be like, okay, I got to get through these people. I've got to like really want to focus. I want to win on each one of these. But if you're just
Mhm.
like, hey, listen, I'm just between meetings and I just had this, and I got a notification. I thought I'd reach out to you here in this moment. You expressed interest in real estate, is that right? And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, this person's a
Yeah.
professional. They're like,
Yeah. Sounds nonchalant enough, which is great for New York market. Because if you get any sales vibe at all, they just completely like phone off. By the way, I haven't so for me the trend is no pickup at all. So I'm not
right.
even getting a voice, just getting either voicemail or you know, they didn't set up a voicemail. Did you or any of you experience this? Did you have anything about that? Are you trying something?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
I get the I keep like I'll call like my first call and it goes straight to voicemail like right
Yeah.
away. And then what I did yesterday was I called someone at 8:30 in the AM and they picked up. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna run with this. And I booked the appointment for 6. My inspection ran like way past, so I couldn't actually get back to them because I was just busy. Client wanted to talk to me about the inspection, but I found that if they're not picking up, then I would just call them earlier. Like just go for it. 8:30, whenever you're legally allowed to call them, start there. Because if they're busy, they'll be busy from 9 to 5. They probably won't pick up.
Yeah, I try to call around 5:30 because, you know, if it's 9 to 5, you know, they're kind of still getting out, and then between 5:30 like till 7. Then I tried doing lunchtime. Absolutely nothing. Lunchtime, and then morning, I just, you know, I feel like all mornings for everyone just so busy that they're just rushing like in the subway. You know, we don't drive here, so it'd be like subway and there is no like, you can't, you know, you won't pick up a phone, and I don't want to text, right? Because that was like the no that was suggested. So I was just curious what you guys are doing. So, but it's good. I'll try 8:30. Maybe it'll be the time.
Yeah, maybe it's before the whole, you know, the onslaught of their day comes in, and then you'll be the first one to kind of like catch them before they're just like, I'm not talking to anyone.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, if you can track it as much as possible, I know in the beginning there's less leads, so it's like you can kind of more going deep on it. And I think if you're using that CRM specifically, you can make a tag to say that you've called them in the AM. Like in my CRM, it'll show obviously the time that I've called. And if you alternate your times, then that'd be better. And I mean, in New York City, I mean, everybody's just, yeah, it's just such a different dynamic and such a different world. I would say prime hours, prime time, like 4 to 7 p.m. even would be helpful. And if you do reach out, I mean, imagine busy professionals too. Emails are quite powerful too. People are more high level. They're going to be apt to read an email and understand who you are. And then if you're calling again, they can see your name or they can see your, you know, a text or something, then it's fresh in their mind. Whereas it's just not like the mystery mansion, right? I've always thought, I kind of just crafted it for myself in an analogy that I used when it's like I don't want to be putting people through the haunted house, right? Like they don't want to keep going through and then they're just like surprised and oh my God, who's this person, right? So anyways, hope that helps.
Has anyone tried the video text? Has anyone got any luck with video texts?
That's a good idea.
I keep hearing it. I keep hearing it. So I was
You should do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you say the word should. It's like maybe just I'll try it out on some people I just haven't been able to get a hold of, you know, just that last Hail Mary.
And I know a guy that swears by Loom, like using Loom and recording like yourself talking in front of something in the background, whether it's like a map of their neighborhood or wherever they're looking or wherever they're selling, and he swears by that. So I
Okay.
think it's probably a good idea.
Okay.
Do you guys send emails after a certain amount of phone call tries? Or what's like, what do you guys go to? Like they didn't pick up, or I don't know, like you call, from what I understood, you call basically back to back on this, like 2 days in a row. On the third day, you're try once, then every other or every two days for a week. And then what happens? You just keep calling. When do the emails come in? Like Andrew, you mentioned you send an email just to like basically introduce yourself or say, you know, you're a professional.
Right.
Does that work?
I would say so. I mean, it's a great touch point. I think it's ultimately necessary. And the first time in the immediate time that your lead is captured, you should probably send that email immediately. And then follow up with, or then start with the calls. The calls, I would limit them to 7 or 8 attempts. I think William recommends that. And then what you would want to do is segregate them later on into people that have just never responded. So once you start another folder of people that you've called 8 times and they're just never picked up, segregate all those. Keep the nurture folder of all the people that you have had a contact with and continue to contact them, like whatever, proactively, of course, and see what you can do with that. But and then alternatively, for the ones that have been followed up with, you can use other methods of communication, like via text or email. And of course, with the CRM, the power of the CRM is that you can take that group of people and hit them all with one mass text. And I mean, the text messages too, like if they're coming from a automated system, it's going to generate a text message that's not exactly like a iPhone text message, so it might not get as well received. But if you do use an iPhone, it's very, very beneficial to utilize that, because then people know that you're like, are you a real system, like, or a real person, not a real system. Yeah. But in any case, yeah, I mean, it's the thing too, is like, I really found in my experience, you don't want to chase the people that are not worth your time. When you have more time because you have less leads, you can do that. But as your lead populace grows and it snowballs, you do want to be a little bit more careful with the attempts. That being said, also, I have had situations where for buyer leads, I've contacted them like 12 or 15 calls, and the 15th call they hang up. Or I mean, sorry, they pick up. So yeah, that's kind of my take on things.
But you
Yeah,
say
that makes
you
sense.
do send the first thing, your first contact is email?
Yeah, I would say almost immediately. I mean, because the speed to lead is so critically important, right? I mean, the call is the number one piece to it all. I mean, you want to make contact with a call if you can. But if you can't get through to them that first initial time, I mean, regardless whether you call them or whatever, what have you, you should always just, I would recommend emailing them, and then creating yourself a nice crafted email, because it's a thing of like, it's just you catch person right at the right time, or maybe they'll read your email and then they understand, and then they can see that you're calling. They might be more apt to pick up. But if it's just a mystery number that somebody's been calling you, getting called by, they don't understand maybe why or whom, right?
Interesting.
To on top of the speed to lead. So I'll just admit full vulnerability. Like, I've been lazy at times, like I'm in the car or something, just, or I missed the lead. But I will say, if I call them within a minute, my success rate so far is like 90% of getting them on the phone. Once I get that, I used to feel kind of creepy about reaching out right away. But if I call, I just, like I said, my success rate of getting it, the past 5, I think I literally called them like right away and they all picked up.
And what do you say? Like, also very general?
I just first I say who I am. Or am I speaking to John? Okay, John, you know what? I just had a minute to get back to you. I saw that you clicked on our Facebook ad. What about that ad, had you interested?
So it works for you. Okay. Okay.
Sometimes I'll mention the ad too. I saw that you're looking for homes under 650,000 in Vancouver. Do I have that right? Is that correct? And then it's so funny because I know that all of us have talked about, say, like how the ad is, but I've had a guy looking for a $2 million foreclosure. I've had like people that click on ads. Some of them just click to see the house. I've had that a few times. Some of them have already listed their property. So I don't think the ad and what it says. I think some people just want to click on stuff.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Is your first email very vague as well? Or is it basically what you would say on the phone? Because to me, it's very, how do I say? It defeats the phone call, or it ruins the phone call, I guess.
Yeah, because like certain CRMs, they like once something comes in, it will send them a text and an email right away. Like some of them are just based, like they just do that. So I don't know. I just usually start with a phone call, and then after like three, I won't do a video text, but I'll be like, hey, John, I've been trying to get a hold of you. Just want to, whatever, reach out. I'll put my digital business card if I can text them. I don't necessarily text through my system because it comes with a different phone number than, say, like my mobile number, my cell. I've been kind of rethinking that. Maybe I want these people on that number and not calling my personal until they're like inside, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
I
I
use
mean,
that as like almost a mechanism of like building rapport. So I call everything from my CRM number. Then if I have a really, really good conversation with them, while I'm on the phone, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna text you from my personal phone, and I send them a message, and then then they have my contact. But yeah, then I'm not just calling, 100 people, and it's just weird, right? They have my own number, they can call me back and whatnot. So everyone that gets my personal number is someone that I had a conversation with and was actually building, some sort of relationship there.
Mm.
That's why I kind of utilize that number because I just say it's like my office number, right? And so it just
Mm,
kind of builds that extra layer of like, okay, like he has an office, professional, you know what I mean? So that's kind
So
of a big
that's
thing.
really
you,
cool, actually.
Yeah.
you just vet them through that number.
Yeah, exactly. And then also for emails, I have it set up so they come into my CRM, and then
Mhm.
I get notified right away, and then I give myself like 30 minutes to call them, right, for that speed to lead aspect. But if I don't have the chance, then I have an automated email. I just picked one of the templates built within the Elite Realty CRM, and then it emails them within 30 minutes just so that they get touch right away, that if I'm busy and I can't reach out to them, they get the email regardless. But it's just kind of a vague email explaining myself and whatnot. But yeah, so that's kind of a good thing too, to if you touch them right away, or if you can't touch them right away, then have just an email go automated within 30 minutes so that they feel that, right?
Does anyone use the Elite CRM with the AI chat on it?
I
I've
mean,
looked at it, but I haven't started that.
mine is set up, but I don't have the A2P registration approved because I'm in US.
Hmm.
And it's a struggle to get through it, but I can see the messages they're sending, but they just aren't delivered through.
Got it. Because I'll get some inquiries at like midnight, 10 p.m. And obviously we're not supposed to be calling them at that point. I know of this one lady, like she's another agent in another group, and she's like, yeah, I had this one guy comes into my CRM at like 11 p.m. I just straight called him. I was like, what's up? And they ended up working together. So, but I think something coming out would be good. I just
Yeah.
don't. I just don't have it. I haven't built that into the system like texting because I'm just using a different CRM. I'm using the same one that Andrew uses. We're both using Lofty.
Mm.
I just haven't built like a workflow for that, like a campaign or something. Just an introduction. I'll give them a call shortly. Just a heads up of things.
yeah, I mean, like the thing is too is like the reality of it is that if somebody's getting his email about it and they're not receiving your call, they received all attempts from you to contact them, and they're still not, you don't have any response. It's like maybe that person's not doesn't have the strongest motivation for real estate as you would imagine they would have, right? So like I don't know, I would just see it from a client's perspective. I get an email and I'm like, well, I'm motivated to find a home, and I'll be like, okay, great. I know who this person is. I'll answer the call. Yeah, great, awesome. Let's talk. Whereas if it's like, oh, hey, I emailed this person and called them, I text them, it's like, okay, obviously you're not, you know, you don't have your head in the game, and that's just the reality of it. It's just the nature of it, right?
Mm, right. I agree. No, it's really helpful. Honestly, this is really helpful just to see everyone else in the same boat, kind of. I mean, we are in different boats essentially, but and share like your experience and what works for you, or like how you have it set up. Just it's calming. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, my pleasure for sure. I guess we'll hang tight for another 4 minutes if this guy's going to show up here. I saw a couple people hop on the call, and and from the BMS people is, I don't know, I can't see. Orf, are you there? Can you tell us what's going on? I can see him on the call.
Yeah, I love your jacket, Andrew.
Thanks, man.
Hey,
I went to a Saints playoff game the year they played and then lost to the Cowboys in the second round. I was at the Eagles game in New York, place on earth.
Awesome. You love it. Yeah. Hopefully it'll be a better year this year.
Oh yeah, well, it can't be worse.
Exactly.
just on the topic of phone calls, I'm in this other like group chat with role play, and there's obviously not I'm in Canada just like Andrew, but in the US anyway, there's this one gal, and she, like other of them, they call expireds. They have This one gal had five burner lines just to interrupt them, just to get a hold of expireds and FISBOs. They would just go through them so that it wouldn't always be the same number coming up. So everyone's got their own magic, but imagine that, 5 burners.
Oh, for sure.
Wild.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
definitely an extra mile.
getting blocked is definitely a real thing for sure.
Everyone, sorry.
There he is.
I have 2:30, no?
No,
No.
we've been here for half an hour, man.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's
Guys,
okay. We had our own pre-coaching call here with all of us together. We
Oh,
just
right
made
on.
the
Well,
best of it.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, kind of a good thing. So I am so sorry. For whatever reason, I had it in as 3 Mountain Time, but maybe obviously I got it screwed up. Is Will on? No, Will.
It was originally in my calendar for 2:30, and then it switched like 2 days ago to 2. So something happened there.
Yeah. Okay, well, it was still in mine for 2:30, so it went from 3 to 2:30. So okay. Anyways, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Great.
Good. Hey, so thanks for everybody who filled out the form. It was really cool, actually. A lot of you filled it out, and I totally appreciate that. I will say that I think it's sometimes when I ask people to fill out this form, the why are you doing this form, I get a lot of responses that are kind of amazing, but a lot of folks who are like super stretching what things could be, and I'm really impressed in that everybody was quite reasonable about it. So I just want to go around the room, and today is meant to be more of a mastermind session. We can talk about whatever you want. I would like to touch on like successes or challenges that you've had during the week, whether that is lead generation or anything in general. Hopefully, these sessions will probably be the most valuable sessions of the 3 per week. And yeah, I've always been surprised that the mastermind's kind of the most interesting part of the week for people. So, or part of the coaching for people. So maybe we'll just go around the room quickly. I'm wanting to just kind of start with other people talking for a minute while I get my stuff together. But yeah, Andrew, you're in your car today, so welcome.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, nice to see you, Tim, for the virtual formal introduction. I think that I'm excited about these calls, and I'm looking forward to all the knowledge and insight that you can kind of sprinkle on all of us. I think kind of the real burning piece is like what I've noticed through the initial stages of this program and still stages of sales for that matter, is really connecting with people, like, and just kind of getting that psychological resistance down and getting a conversation that's like valuable, because people, like, I mean, it's the situation is now, and with the era that we're in, I'd like to hear some of your insight on what really matters the most in terms of getting people that are getting people really engaged with you at the outset, because at the outset they don't trust you as much. So that's my thoughts.
I think it's an amazing question and commentary. So I use pretty aggressively disc profiling, and I know people have heard about True Colors, and there's different, obviously, personality profiling systems. But my feeling is you have on the phone in particular, let's just talk about it on the phone, but you have probably 2 to 3 seconds to really make that early impression. So if you're asking if the person is the person, if you're introducing yourself, too much, you lose that chance to kind of connect with people. So the connection, Andrew, I find is that on the phone, like it's similar in person. You can imagine that you don't want, too much small talk if you're a salesperson. But on the phone, it's just condensed. So the same
Right.
principles apply. Personality profiling, mirroring, acknowledgement, all the emotional requirements that you would have face to face happen hyper speed on the phone. So it's super cool because I think it's one of the reasons I like talking to people on the phone, but it's an opportunity, but it's also a scary place to go. So we'll explore some of that ongoing, but I really thank you for that, the comment. And it seems like the phone should be a little less accessible or little less accommodating to a sales conversation, but I actually think it's different. I think it's actually more effective.
Yeah, good
you see-
insight.
Could you see how that could be, where the phone's a better way to connect with people?
Yeah, I guess it's the curiosity piece, right? I think that's probably the big part of it, is the actual curiosity and we don't have that sensory the connection of the sensory to know what's going on, like what the call is, purpose of the call. So that's where you really want to, get in that engagement at outset. Because yeah, like you just said, I mean, if you do too much explaining, it's like, I don't know. we all know.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Curiosity is it. That's absolutely it. So I think it's the same reason. Does anybody use social media aggressively, like for marketing reasons? Not so much.
Kind of working on it, getting
Yeah.
things, yeah.
Right on. Yeah.
Hi Tim, I kind of try to do that. I try to make videos and then post them on social media.
Excellent. So you know how you have that 2 to 5 seconds for the hook? Imagine the same thing happens on the phone. You have that 2 to 5 seconds. When we meet people in person, we probably have 15 to 20 seconds to raise their curiosity, to get them interested in what we're saying. But on the phone, it's cool because it's like condensed. And you can be different than everybody else very, very, very easily. So cool. Preet, have you, when you're shooting your videos and whatnot, are you focused on, the hook and the offer being like very, very quick?
Yeah, I'm still actually new to this. I'm still trying to get good at the hooks, but yeah, I try to do something like that, to be honest.
That's cool. So
Yes.
the same
Like-
principles.
Like
I'm sorry.
maybe that sometimes the price is good, so I go with that, or like the community is good, or like whatever the most attracting feature is, whatever.
Cool. Well, we're gonna experiment with hooks in probably, I think sometime probably the week after next, but we'll get right into it. But anyways, do know that what you feel maybe uncomfortable about, that introductory piece is actually, can be a huge advantage to you. So okay. So I'm just gonna continue going around the room. Maybe Andrew, are you good?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to take up too much airtime. Let's get everybody on board.
We have the time, and this is what today's all about. So Fridays are casual and all about sharing. So excellent. James, you are next on my list.
Yeah, nothing really particular to ask. Just I kind of missed I wasn't able to make it to the first kind of calls. I'm curious, would you be able to send me the form you were talking about earlier?
For sure I can, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I'd like
I
to get
think Will probably emailed it out.
Okay, I'll check for that.
But it will be in the school group as well.
Community.
Yeah, it's posted on community, the page.
Okay, perfect. I'll grab it from there then.
Perfect. It's like it's a form that just you'll kind of reflect about why you're doing this. And just as a summary, it was really interesting, and it was interesting that a lot of people obviously put money, but the amount of the number of people who like specifically family freedom was actually kind of really interesting. So it usually comes down to money, family, freedom, and then, you know, just doing something on your own, which I think lends to freedom as well. So there's 4 or 5 answers that are quite typical when we do this. And it was very, very similar too. So it was excellent. Anybody have any questions about that survey, I guess?
Sorry, Tim, I didn't get the why question.
Oh, okay, so I'm sorry, you didn't get it, like you didn't get the link?
Yeah, like it was not in the chat, and I don't know.
Okay, it's in the group, so, or in the school group, so just grab it from in there. And I fully encourage you guys all to use that school group aggressively. Yeah, in the big group that I coach, it's super active. People sharing ideas around real estate, marketing, you name it. So I know it's the BMS group. Just use it and abuse it. Ask people questions. I give away prizes for different levels of the gamification levels. So I'll talk to Will about doing that as well. But anyways, people have a lot of fun. They share their wins. They also share their questions. So it's a good thing to do. Cool. James, are you good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Alona, how was your week?
Hi, it's going. I'm still in the process of setting up the CRM. So I'm kind of half in the getting settled in, and then half in reaching out and understanding what works, what doesn't work. Just because you don't have any information about them, right? So you want to keep it as broad as possible. So actually the half an hour that we were waiting, it was great because I literally asked everyone what they're doing.
Okay, cool.
And it just kind of gave me a peace of mind. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Cool. Is it the BMS CRM?
Yeah, the elite, yes.
Yeah. What is it called? Sorry to ask this, but
It's elite.
oh, elite. Okay, cool. Excellent.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you ever have questions, I'm good with that too. I think taking time to set up your CRM is a good thing. I think, you know, a little bit of setup time now and a little bit of training and understanding your CRM now will definitely benefit like way down the road when you go back when you need it. So
right. I think for me, I'm getting stuck in the A2P registration and approval. That's just a mess, like absolutely a mess. And I feel like no one's really, no one has, here's how you do it, and it just, it gets approved. So far it's no luck for me. So I'm getting stuck in that area because I can't utilize the other aspects of it. And then for some reason, I don't even have the domain button. So I'm just kind of going through like the domain tab or on the left side. So I'm just, slowly digging away.
Yeah, with the A2P, so have you submitted, like, I think they require you to submit an application, like, I think. Did you get a response back to that?
It just says it's rejected.
It's rejected.
Yeah, it's rejected. And from what I understand, I've been watching a bunch of YouTube videos. I think I need to have my domain that matches the exact LLC name.
Yep.
And my domain is from what I understood is missing. So
so do you have your LLC records? Like, were they requiring you to upload that as well?
Yes.
Shouldn't have, you're talking about your domain URL?
Yes.
It shouldn't, those two can be different.
Really?
So that's a little strange. Or they used to be, I guess. I haven't done it for a while.
Yeah, but they don't say why it got rejected. So it's, there's no like,
No,
this is missing or this doesn't match.
no.
I'm just kind of guessing on everything now.
Probably just maybe email the support line. When you're online searching, how are you searching? Like just ATP registration?
Mm-hmm.
Go to Go High Level ATP registration.
Mm.
So GHL or Go High Level. My
Mhm.
guess is the Elite system is built on the backbone of Go High Level.
Mhm.
So that might give you better insight specifically to your situation.
Okay, I will do that. Thanks so much.
Yeah, anytime. Cool. Nisa, how was your week?
Good. Busy. It's been a little crazy, not gonna lie. I do have actually a question.
Yeah.
How do you or anyone handle if somebody answers and they're like, they seem really interested, but their English isn't very good, so they wanted me to call back the next day in the afternoon, like early afternoon around 1 o'clock, so that their wife could be on the call. And then I called them and I've tried calling them and nothing.
Yeah, so I would label that as intent, like finding their, like gaining and understanding their intent. So
Yeah.
it's one thing for them to say they want to meet when the wife is home, husband's home, whatever the
Mhm.
case is. Make sure don't leave the end of the conversation at that. Maybe
Okay.
tie it to, the time close, like I can do 2 o'clock or I can do 4 o'clock. That's a piece of it to determine the intent. But I just straight up
Mhm.
ask people like, hey, if I give you a call, are you going to be available? And do you really want to find out more information about buying a house?
Okay.
So you can do all the fancy techniques you want, but why not just ask? Like,
Yeah.
I'd even label it as hard as like, hey, a lot of people don't even show up for these meetings. Are you
Mhm.
sure you're committed to show up so I can describe this to you?
Yeah,
Just
just be like straight up. Okay.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay. Sounds good.
yeah. Because I think you're right. Like the I don't know what the show rate of an appointment like that would be, but it's like super low.
Yeah, well, I even said, because I was like, well, do you want to do like a Zoom call maybe later? And he was just like, it's better when my wife is available. Like his English wasn't very good, to be fair, but he just kept it straight to that. So yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
just label it a little bit, be honest. If there's no intent there, then it is what it is, and just let them know that maybe it's not time for that meeting. Do you want me to try to coordinate things in a few weeks when you're serious about buying a house?
Yeah.
I don't know, like I'm kind of just be straight with people.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I prefer that anyways. So, okay. Okay. That works.
It's a good question.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'm glad you're busy. It's good.
Yes.
Yeah. Chris, you are next on my list.
Okay. The week is the week. Yeah, I'm going through my calls. I'm seeing who I can talk to. I had a previous deal. It was actually funny because it was on a free Facebook ad that from like 2 years ago. Finally have inspection yesterday, so big plus. I mean, that one's an interesting one, but
Nice.
we're good. And with the rest of them, I mean, I'm definitely trying to set the appointment, but it's just some of them are just not picking up. Some of them are not taking my next call. I always try to book that next call before I get off the phone. Like, here, if it's not a good time for now, when is a good time? I have some time this evening, or do you prefer mornings? Like, I will give them the one or the two. And I guess my biggest challenge is, and I don't think I'm alone here because I think it's super common, is call reluctance. When I force myself to do it, I usually like if I force myself to do it, I like the last few times, say 5 times that I've had a great pickup rate of like 90% when I'm speed to lead. So I know it works. It's just the navigating the conversation and just I guess it's like it comes down to role play and practice on what to say, how to say it, where we put ourselves in that consultant role where we need to be the authority, asking questions and not the order taker asking questions.
Yeah.
Because you will, like, from my experience, I've done online leads before as well. If you're not moving the conversation and booking the next call, then it's probably not going to happen, and you're starting from zero just to get them on the phone again.
Yeah, the second time on the phone, you're right, 100%. It's difficult. Like I just call it the show rate or the turn up rate or whatever. But yeah, speed to lead works. I just try to encourage people just to make it part of their lives. Like just that phone, answer the damn phone, you know, or pretend you're answering it, but make that outbound dial.
Yeah. It's not necessarily, it's the reluctance on my part is just not being the most like comfortable on the phone.
Yeah.
And I think that it's very common because I run into that call reluctance. I'll get on the phone and it's just, when you get those awkward pauses and you've asked a question and they just kind of pause. So I don't know whether or not to shut up or just keep asking them or not. So it's just, I'm just not, it's on me. It's on the confidence level of navigating through the conversation and just being the authority, being the confident one on the call. Like I've done this I've done this 1,000 times. Like you're just someone else I'm in my intake form.
Yeah. It's awesome that you're having those questions because I think we'll definitely do some role playing. I just added that to the list of things I want to kind of cover, but yeah, I mean, you're natural. It's natural. Like you got to make some serious calls for a long time to feel comfortable with that. But I will say that there's two things that I would suggest to start to think about as we get going, but you can think about them now. Two things that you just can't do. You can't answer your own questions. So you can't ask a question and then help the person answer it. And you can't talk over people. So if you stuck with those two little tips right away, there will be uncomfortable pauses. But you don't always have to fill those pauses. Sometimes they're uncomfortable for both parties, but don't feel like you have to fill it instantly because people are still like, who is this person? What are they talking about? Why are they asking? So it does take some time, and just be careful not to talk over or answer your own questions.
Okay.
I'm amazingly effective at answering my own questions. I hate it. Honestly, it's like a learned skill that I don't know. I just have to work harder on it. Yeah. Cool. We'll do some role playing. Is anybody else call reluctant? Hands or whatever? Me?
I
Owen?
was like honest for my first 2 months, like I'd sit down and make like 5 calls and like no answers. I'm like, okay, like, that's it, and I just leave. But like this week I probably made like 40 to 50 calls a day. And it's like sometimes like the conversations just as you're having them, I was like, I'd never had like a conversation with someone on the phone more than 10 minutes. And then in this week, all my calls now transferring to I can just bring conversations along for forever and you know what I mean, actually dive deep into it. And another thing about what Chris said about the pauses was I was the same way. I was like, I hate the pauses. I talked with one of my friends who he's been in BMS for a long time and had great success with it. He's like, bro, like you have to like embrace the pauses because that's where you're actually gonna get them to go deeper into what you ask a question, they give you this and that, and then it's like if you cut in right away, like what you're saying, you're gonna interrupt them as well. You're gonna overtalk them. But if you jump in right away, then you don't allow them that extra space because the awkward pause, it makes you want to talk, right? So if you're the first person to talk, then you're not allowing them to talk, I guess, right? So those kind of things, but.
Totally. I love it. Yeah, I love it. Also love, like, I don't know about you, but I'll make 5 calls and get no answers. I'll be down about it. I'll make 40 calls and get 1 answer. And I'm super happy about that calling session. It's like the math doesn't add up, but if I can just get 1 or 2 or 3 people, I'm like super happy. So yeah.
Well, I remember I'd set it like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make like 20 calls, and then I'd start getting mad when people were picking up because it's like I'm just trying to get through my 20 dials, and then what I mean? It's like, but then once you start, just embrace the pickups and have the conversations, and it's just you have fun with it, right?
Yeah, totally. It's a math game too. It's for sure. Yeah. So Brad, you're next on my list. How was the week?
Hey, how's it going? The week was really good. I had a deal go pending, so now I'm doing what I love the most, waiting for inspections and all that to happen next week. And then yeah, for whatever reason, my leads have dried up this week. I only got one this week, and it was a guy just fishing for a price, for what his house was worth. But yeah, nonetheless, I guess it's been a good week. Busy. There's so many deals that are going multiples and going like in less than a day. It's just nuts.
Where are you? Where are you?
I'm in Edmonton. We're
Oh, you
just
are?
outside Edmonton,
Yeah,
but in
it's
Edmonton.
wild.
Yeah.
I think it's like our brokerage stats show us slowing down a little bit on the multiple front, like on the deals going multiple. So I think I don't know. My expectation is that Edmonton market anyways will shift towards that kind of buyer's market in the next probably 3 to 6 months. So anyways, that's my blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be nice. I personally don't like the whole multiple thing. I think it's just I think it's dirty, but whatever.
Yeah. Who's in a market that everything's multiple?
I'm in Edmonton as well, so yeah, I wrote an offer last week and there was 16 offers. And
Holy shit.
yeah, like we were $30,000 over asking with no conditions, and it went for like 50 over. So yeah, it's great.
Wow.
Wait, can I ask, was it in the high four, close to 500 range?
It was a bungalow and it was listed at 399. And then it went for just below 450. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and
it's like
the price
what
range
Brad
that
was
I was
saying,
thinking.
they're fishing for the multiple offers, and I mean, if you're a listing agent, like that's just ideally what happens for your client, right? Is they get 16 offers and they get something crazy, right? So is what it is, but it's a tough market.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, Brad, you
Yeah.
said you got a guy who was fishing for a valuation on his house?
Yeah, he's got an apartment downtown, and he was just looking to see what it was worth. He told me he wanted to know if he should do a bunch of renovations on it or not, and so I just I gave him the price of the last 3 units that sold in his building, and he was like, "Wow," he's like, "I paid way more than that." So,
Yeah. Yep. Interesting. Cool.
yeah,
I was just gonna say, if you have those situations that come up, like just go deliver the CMA in hand.
Yeah.
That is like my favorite thing to surprise people with. I deliver in a nice gold envelope, like, hey,
yeah,
but that's a different situation, so don't do that.
yeah, for sure.
All right. Are you good?
Yep.
Yep, cool. Susan, how was your week?
It was good. This is the first time in my 23 years I've had clients. I have one couple buyers from Saudi Arabia, and they just finally gave me the go-ahead to write an offer for their son at the U of A. And then I have another client who's in Australia. So this is weird. I have a few more locals, of course, but I've never had that, that. And then all the delay in time and the 10-hour difference. And so that's been interesting for me, but I am writing today. That's my plan.
Good. Well, that's exciting. That's a good week for sure.
And I've had 12 leads, and I'm been phoning everyone right away when I get the leads, and normally, though they don't answer, I've had the same experience as everybody here, but I don't mind calling, and I'm a singer by trade, so for me it's always focusing on, like, when I was singing, and to not be nervous. I was just thinking about what James was saying. It's just like if I was ever nervous on a TV show or singing the national anthem, which I did twice at a Stanley Cup playoff games, like,
cool.
When you are scared. But it's just thinking about the audience and thinking about your message and how you're trying to get what you're singing to them. And then it takes the pressure off you. And then you don't feel, you're not there. You don't think about yourself, actually. And you're thinking about who you're trying to help and the service you're trying to do. And if they're the number one in your thoughts, it makes it easier to make those calls.
Yep. Good. Yeah. That's a good way to kind of reconcile it. So good for you.
Yeah.
Very cool. Kim, how was your week?
Hey Tim,
My week's been good. Just been a lot of networking and learning. It's my first week onboarding with BMS, so it's pretty exciting stuff. And I actually had a question. I heard the term speed to lead.
Mm.
Can you just elaborate more on that?
Yeah, for sure. So speed to lead is I guess just like a quick, all it means is being as fast as you can to respond to that inquiry. So I always teach people to think of it like they're receiving a phone call from the person inquiring, they're clicking an ad, they're signing up, they're doing all these things. So the faster that you can get to them, now in this case, you're going to have to dial out, but the faster you can get to them, the more likely you are to get a hold of them. So the drop-off rate in probability of connection just tanks after about 30 minutes. So the best way to get a hold of somebody is inside that 0 to 15 minutes, and then maybe extended 15 to 30. That's the sweet spot to get a hold of them without having to work them so hard in your database. So a person, no, this is just generally, but if you're able to get somebody right away, or you have that option to call them 3 or 4 times to get a hold of them after that 30 minutes or whatever. Does that make sense? So speed to lead just refers to how fast you're calling that lead.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, so sorry, Kim. How continue on with your week?
No, it's just good. My main goal this year is to be going full-time in real estate. I'm still part-time at the moment. And so I've just been doing a lot of networking and connecting this week, and it's been really good. And I'm just here to learn more about real estate from everybody and how they're doing things. So being a sponge and yeah, just learning.
Awesome. That's a good approach for sure. Andrew, how was your week? Andrew, no Andrew. This is why I'd love for you guys to all be on camera. Lovepreet, how was your week?
Hey, sorry about that.
No, Andrew's there. Go
I
ahead,
was
Andrew.
fumbling around with the
Sorry, I was
this
already
device.
covered you. I got you already. You
All
like
right,
went
man.
blank and then moved around on my screen. So
No problem.
yeah, we're all good. Lovepreet, how was your week?
Yeah, it was great. Just prospecting, calling my leads, and yeah, looking for. I have a couple of clients. I'm looking properties for them.
Excellent. That's always good.
That-
Good. Thanks, Lovepreet. Ephraim, how was your week?
Hi, Tim. Oh, okay. Wow. I'm just starting to drive, but I am still parking here. Well, it has been okay. With different challenges. For one side, well, I have had some clients, and I'm working in 3 potential sellers that are gonna come to the market probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. 2 buyers, but these are not from the online leads. And one of my best challenges now is really working with the online leads. This is my very first time in my 20 years business career in real estate, calling to online leads or calling to anyone. So I'm learning slowly, but I'm learning. Getting, at the beginning was like being so afraid of calling people, what to say, because I am not really into phone calls. Actually, almost I don't call anyone. So it was a completely new stuff for me, very challenging. But now I feel I am enjoying it. I started with just one call in a day. And when they say, oh, I am busy, I'm going to call you back. Okay, that's fine. So kind, whatever. And I forgot about that. But now I am doing between, as James is doing now, I guess, like 20, 30 calls if possible. But at least my goal is to be making between 10 and 15 calls every day and trying to get at least 10 contacts.
Excellent. Yeah, that's good. And I think technique as we go through too will help you feel more comfortable and excited by it, right? You do.
Well, I gotta say, Tim, I'm not comfortable, but I am becoming comfortable being uncomfortable, right? So I have to do it. I'll do it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. But let's get you comfortable having fun.
Yes, let's enjoy it.
Yeah. So we're gonna do that for sure. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. I forget that you guys have already been on, so sorry about this. We'll wrap it up in a bit. But Denise, how was your week?
Hi, Tim. My week was okay. I just got back from vacation, so I haven't been doing too many calls, but I think I've been taking calls for about a month now, and I've just been trying to make sure to use like all the tools available, emails if I can't get in touch, with any of the leads that I have available, calling twice a day. And the only issue that I'm having, I believe, is I I'm not getting the notifications in real time, and obviously that's an issue with speed to lead. So I use Lead Connector, and I'm not sure if anybody else is using that, but I only get it if they send a text message, but I'm not getting, so I have to keep looking at it. So I guess that's something that I have to follow up with tech support with, but yeah, that's
Yes, do that, because I was also having the same issue and I had to reach out to them and they fixed it for me.
Yeah, so that's the only issue, because I understand with everyone, I kind of hear speed to lead is the most important thing.
Yeah, it's important for sure. Okay, yeah, well, hopefully you can get that straightened out too. Denise, I want to just add, this is an open forum for any of your real estate technique questions or anything that I can either share with you or collaborate with you to talk about. So for everybody, like, this doesn't have to just be about lead gen kind of stuff. So just to open that up as well. So
Okay.
so yeah, it's just hopefully a good session where we'll all get to know each other and be able to ask questions. So okay, Melrose, you're next on the list. How was your week?
Very interested. It's my first time here, so
Yes, welcome.
I'm listening in and stuff like that. My problem is with the leads when I first touch base with them. Most of them said, well, I didn't make the call, I didn't do that, or a lot of excuses, or they don't answer the phone. So I don't know if it's my introduction or what the problem really is.
Yeah, so if you're asking, I think we'll kind of get into this with some of the scripting, and I think I mentioned this with Matthew earlier, like having that 2-3-ish seconds to kind of hook somebody with some interest and some value and curiosity. So we'll get into this actually quite a bit, and it'll apply to both your sphere of influence or even, if your flyer draw, any techniques that you're using are the same. You just need to really work on that hook and then the offer that you can present to people. The quality of the leads, I'm not sure of, but I think a lot of people will tell you, for whatever reason, just to get you off the phone, that they didn't do this or they didn't do that. So that's where that curiosity piece comes in. If you have so let me just play this out. So Melrose, you call me, or I call you. The worst thing I can do is say, hey, is this Melrose? Yes, you say yes. I say, how's your day? You tell me how your day is. And suddenly we're 10 or 15 seconds into the call with just everyday normal banter. So we're really going to work on getting to intriguing people within 2 to 3 seconds.
Yeah, but what Willard said is, don't ask them about their day or something, because they don't really care to tell you that.
Don't ask their name. Don't ask about the day. Just like, we'll get them interested in who you are on the phone right away.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So just be patient, build that lead count. You'll be surprised at how many of those leads you call in a few weeks that are interested in making a purchase or whatever.
I think it's a little bit harder Toronto area with the Toronto area. So I think it's harder than Edmonton or any other places. It's really tough in the GTA.
Yep, I'll give you that for sure. Which makes it more about a numbers game and technique, right? So if you're gonna have super solid technique, get to the number of calls, you can make it work. We're like other markets you can be lazier in. You just have to be more laser focused on technique and volume. So it can be done though. We'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Jonathan. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
So Tim, are we gonna be like within the role play, or are we gonna sort of like get some scripting and some stuff we can
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. So the it's a good question. The format of what we're doing every week. So the week will break down. This week got messed up and then I screwed up this time, but the week will break down this way. So I'll do a 2-hour session on Mondays. Jeez. And then a 1-hour kind of break that session down on Thursdays. And then Fridays will be kind of a free-for-all like this.
Okay.
So inside of those 2-hour sessions and the breakdowns, it will always be role playing of some kind.
Perfect.
So almost every call will not the role playing that people have to be nervous about answering or whatever. It'll be comfortable, and we'll just we'll do some stuff. So
perfect. Thank you.
And not always around online lead gen. Okay. Outbound calling, family connections, all that stuff. So okay, excellent. Thank you. Jonathan, you're next on the list. Jonathan's driving. Okay, no, Jonathan, Christine, you're next on the list. No, Christine. All right. Oh, hey, Christine. Hello?
I was doing something else.
There you go. Right
Yeah, I
on.
was multitasking. Yeah, actually I just wanted to share with you guys that I got a couple of leads, 5 leads since I joined. So far I've been contacting some of them, and this morning I spoke to one guy, and I just wanted to ask, usually, I talk to them, and if they, they some of them, I will ask them, to meet up. And if some of them, they are not free, but they said they wanted to, well, they have the intention of buying their homes, because they are currently renters. And so I would also, ask them if they need mortgage assistance. At the same time, if they said yes, I recommend that, maybe I would just, I said, I would recommend a mortgage broker to talk to you if they are okay, if he's okay. Would you normally advise that? I would just say, so that they, before I start the ball rolling, I tell him that, oh, you want to find out what is your buying power like, right? And before you do your house hunting.
Yeah.
So this is what I do. Just wanted to have a feel as to you, how would you suggest? Is it what you would do as well?
Yeah, it's a great, really good question. And I think there's been different times that I felt differently. I feel that in today's market everywhere, well, first of all, we're paying for leads online. So our goal, the process will be to talk to somebody, to get an appointment, to get hired, and to do a deal. So that's kind of the flow. So what you need to be doing when you're talking to somebody is thinking about how you can get an appointment with them. So an appointment can look a number of different ways, but 2 primary outcomes that I see. Number 1, a sit-down, 3. Number 1, a sit-down meeting at an office. Number 2, a Zoom call where you can show them the value that you can add to their experience, right? You go into your MLS, you go into your portal, whatever it is, Paragon in Edmonton, Alberta, But you go into that portal, you screen share it, and you show how much value and how much more effective you can be than they can be on their own. So add value in face-to-face via Zoom. And then what I'm finding is the ultimate technique right now is booking what is being called discovery call day. So discovery day, sorry. So on a discovery day, you'll let them book an appointment to look at a house. You'll book an appointment based on their description, and maybe one of the two of you will book a third one if that's necessary. But then you're going out and you're meeting with them face to face. Depending on where you're at with your career, that might not make sense, but it might make sense to get in front of people. So I'm not saying the discovery day is meant to like be part of like the buying process necessarily. I think it can be part of the appointment process. So talking to them on the phone, booking an appointment, and booking the appointment can be in face-to-face at an office, at a coffee shop, via Zoom, or you can go to that level of going out and looking at properties with them.
Yeah. Ideally, I would prefer to meet up in person.
100%.
Right? This is what we do. Usually at the end of the day, we still need to meet up, right?
Yeah.
And usually it's like if they agree to meet up, you know, that is good. That sounds good. I mean, like, you know, this is more certain that, you know, this one is genuine, you know, and then I can find out whether they need mortgage assistance and things like that. But if they don't have the time to meet up, and they are okay to, you know, for sending them the listing notifications, but then that's not enough usually, you know, because, you know, you don't know whether they are going to look at it, you know, the check out the listings anyway.
Yeah.
So I use the mortgage thing to see if they are, they would be committed to talk to the mortgage broker.
Yeah.
That is a good sign if they are, if they are, right? So, you know, this is why I would bring up that, you know, the mortgage broker, if they are willing to talk to them over the phone first.
Yeah, I really like it. So for everybody, so that mortgage part would be part of your qualifying process, but it's still not booking that appointment because you can lose them, the mortgage broker, they can just, lots of things can happen when that's a referral, right? So your goal still needs to be like, get that meeting. So if the meeting is to discuss that and you're doing it via Zoom or in person or a coffee shop or during a discovery day, that's perfect. But you're getting that appointment. And we have to just grind that into our heads that online lead gen is all about getting appointments. So book more showings. When Cider and Will started, when I helped them, like legitimately, that was the goal, is to literally book more showings. And they did it personally and the group. And I always just like to, like, that is the goal, is to book showings, get on appointments, have appointments. Appointments are everything.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Thanks, Christine. It was fantastic.
Cool.
Nim, have I called on you yet? Sorry, without the face, I'm lost.
No, you didn't call on me, but I was off.
You're always driving.
Not always. But what was the subject? I was
Just how was your week?
I'm calling people, they answering. I have a hard time with the booking. Mostly they want to they want me to send some lists and things like that. Yeah, so that's where I am right now. But I get people on the phone. Everybody have different situation, right? Everybody have his own story there.
For sure.
So, but I didn't get any actual meetings so far from those leads.
Okay, you will start. We'll work on it a little bit too, but maybe just to end it, because I think I've been through with everybody, but with any prospecting, I don't care if it's sphere of influence, mail dropping, door knocking, whatever you're doing, these are long, like this is a long game. This is if you're to measure your conversion rates, you need to measure them over 24 months. So I would expect that all of you can get to a 10% conversion rate. Some are going to be earlier, some are going to be later, but if you're not nurturing and working and designing your CRM to allow you to work people going forward, you're going to miss those last 5. So you might have 5 in 1 year, but you'll have another 5 from 1 year to 2 years. So just to say, Nim, like these leads, even though, you know, things might not happen right now, they'll still be in your database and you'll still be calling them. And then maybe a couple things will happen. Maybe A, they'll be ready, and maybe B, you'll be just amazing on the phones, right? So those things will happen going forward. And I've seen it. So I've done online lead gen before Will and Sutter, and it's a 2-year game. Like a great number of my leads turn out to be customers after the 1-year mark. So
question, what is the strategy for the follow-up calls? We have the initial trying to get them to appointment, but what mentally, what will be like down the road the reason for me to call, and how to handle those ones?
Yeah, so great question. For me, my follow-up strategy is built by wanting to do 30 calls a day. So if I'm focused on 30 calls a day, I will always find somebody, you know, who used to be hot and get a hold of them or touch them or make that call anyways, make that attempt. So from a short-term follow-up strategy, I think A, speed to lead, B, double dial people. So if they don't answer, dial them right back. And then we'll talk about how you can feel comfortable about that in a bit. But so those are the 2 first pieces. And then my follow-up would be 1 day for 3 days, once a day for 3 days. And then I just extend it out after that. So after about a week, I'm just talking to people every 10 days, every 15 days. My lower priority calls, you know, might be moved to the next day because I can't get enough in, or so you can just start to manage them. But I think your question is the most important question. How do you manage them? As long as you're managing them, you're ahead of most people. As long as you realize that, hey, you'll call somebody strangely enough in 8 months and they're going to pick up and they're going to be looking. You'll be shocked how many, you know, that happens. And that goes the same with your friends and family. People you talk to today may give you nothing, but they may turn up to be buying or selling themselves, or know of a friend who's buying or selling. So long game, online lead gen, hopefully you can knock off a few quickly and continue that. But just asking the fact that you're trying to figure out how to manage follow-up, that's brilliant. Yeah. Because that's as important as most things. Like it's equal for sure.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for that. It's great. Okay, everyone, I'm really sorry about today. I think Will and I will figure out the actual time and commit to it. And once I'm committed, I'm usually just like bang on. So yeah, so sorry about that. The next session will be on Monday. And I think what I'm going to try to do is I will update in the calendar in the school group. I'll update the content for that week. So I'll update the content for Tuesday, for Monday, for Thursday, and for Friday. Okay, I'll try, just because this is a bit of a work in progress for me. Thanks, you know, because everybody's from different areas and different needs and different timeframes in their career. I'll do it like once a week, probably on the weekend. Okay. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you.
Trying to figure out
Thanks,
soon.
Tim.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Have a good weekend.
Okay. Hey, oh, sorry. What's a better time for you guys? Like 3 Mountain Time might not be great for folks in the East. Efrain, Alona, what's the best time for you guys? Would it be 2 or 3 p.m. 2 Mountain Time or 3 Mountain Time?
I'm okay with either. I
Okay.
think as long as we end before 5, so I can make some great phone calls for the people that are getting off work, the 9 to
Okay.
5.
Perfect. So we'll lean towards the 2, but I'll just talk it through with Will.
Yeah, for me, it's 3 Mountain is okay.
Okay. Nisa, awesome. All right.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. That's my daughter.
That's so cute. Why aren't you on camera? That's
I
hilarious.
know. That's why.
Oh, come on.
I'll show you her. Just one second.
Yeah.
Ada, you want to come say hi? No, she changed her mind.
Shy. All
Yeah,
right.
she is. All right. Have a good weekend, Tim.
Yeah, you guys too.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
You want to see now?
Oh,
You say hi?
hi.
She's got lipstick on.
That's awesome.
All right. Bye,
Okay.
guys.
See you guys. Bye-bye.